Miss Jing feels that ever since she met Ji Shao, life has been like a water reversal that has gone viral. Keywords of the novel. Suyu's love in a city without pop-ups, Suyu's love in a city full collection download, Suyu's love in a city latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. Hotel Presidential Suite. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1 Hotel Presidential Suite A City, Jean Kairoué International Hotel. In the rising elevator, Jing Chinga leaned her head to the side, and under her small red skirt, which was like fireworks, her two slender legs were exposed, overlapping and supporting each other. Accidentally, a strand of soft silk fell from behind my ear, playfully brushing against the slightly flushed cheeks, as if feeling a bit intoxicated. The long curled eyelashes fluttered like butterfly wings, light and beautiful. Jing Chinga looked at the room card in her hand again, curled her lips, and muttered with a smile, "Is this true love?" Originally, today was Jing Chinga's 20th birthday. She, her two best friends Qi Shinshan, and Xiao Chujian had made an appointment to go to the Blue Harbor Bar to have a wild time together in the evening, drink to celebrate her birthday, and never return until drunk. Unexpectedly, she waited alone in the bar for almost an hour, drinking all three pre-ordered signature fruit wines. It was only then that Qi Shen called and said that she had booked a VIP suite on the top floor of the Jean Carey Hotel next to the bar and prepared a super surprise gift package for her. The room card had already been placed in her bag, asking her to come over quickly. The VIP suite, for sister's sake, I forgive you. Jing Chinga and her two best friends are high school classmates, both of whom are currently in their sophomore year at a university, during the summer vacation. Ding! With a clear sound, the elevator arrived, and Jing Chinga suddenly came to her senses. She lifted her foot and walked out, standing at the entrance of the elevator and taking a glance. Did you just speak deeply on the phone about the room at the far left end of the corridor or the room on the far right? She remembers it was on the far left. Jing Chinga rubbed her temples with a headache, turned left, and walked forward steadfastly. At the end of the long corridor, Jing Chinga realized that the door was not locked tightly and there was a small gap left. It seemed that she had been waiting for her to come, and I remember correctly, it was here. And it's not certain that those two bad girls were hiding behind the door with cream cakes, and as soon as she opened the door, they rushed out and slapped her in the face. A mischievous smile swept over Jing Chinga's lips, and she jumped back and forcefully pushed the door in her hand. I've figured it out, girls. Hurry up, my birthday surprise. Jing Chinga stood with her waist crossed at the door for a while, but no one came out to greet her. There was no cake cart, birthday candles, balloons, ribbons, or anything else, and the room was even quieter. What the hell? Jing Chinga touched her nose, tiptoed into the cat waist, and casually closed the door. Before taking a few steps, suddenly, with a tug at the corner of his mouth, his eyes widened wide and round. In front of me, there is a huge room decorated in the European aristocratic design style, with light orange lights faintly emanating from the solid crystal cover on the ceiling, landing on the carpet, covered in ground gold, luxurious to the extreme. A cool wind blew in from the half-open French window, and the black curtains on both sides flew over. Outside the window, you could see the bright neon night in the city. Jing Chinga opened her mouth and woke up from the wine she had drunk at night. After a while, she finally returned to her senses and spat out a sentence, "Girls, you're not spending your hard-earned money, you're definitely spending your dowry money. This is not a luxury suite, it's just a presidential suite. Isn't it just a 20th birthday? Do you want such a small cotton jacket to move people?" Jing Chinga casually wiped the corner of her eye, and as she turned around, her face was stunned by lightning strikes. On the carpet outside the bathroom, there were scattered men's clothes on the ground, especially the black bullet-shaped underwear that was exposed, which made a certain woman blush and her ears heat up. Jing Chinga finally understands what Qi Shinshan's super surprise gift package is. Dare to find a shop for her all night, Nyo/Lang. End of this chapter. 2. Who is that demon man in Chapter 2? You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Who is that demon man in Chapter 2? Outside the window, a light golden glow fell between the eyebrows of the male demon, floating a layer of dark color like a devil. When Jing returned home, Jing's parents were having breakfast at the dining table. Dad, Mom, I'm back. Jing changed her shoes, lowered her brows and eyes, and called out sweetly. You're back just right, Chinga. Come and have breakfast quickly. Jing's mother got up and went to the kitchen to get another set of utensils. No, Mom, I'm not hungry yet. I'll go back to my room and take a nap first, so I won't disturb your breakfast date with Dad. Jing waved her hand and gave Jing Dad a ghostly glance before turning up the stairs and yawning, so tired, so tired. At the dining table, Jing's mother was still muttering, Old Jing, look at how you've gotten used to your precious daughter. She's already a person of 20 years old, and she's become one of the 5 gods and 6 gods of heaven. She doesn't even look like a lady from a wealthy family. Hey, isn't that good? Father Jing smiled with a spoiled expression on his face. Madam, then I'll also go to work at the company. Mr. Jing started a construction and real estate company. Although it is completely incomparable to the major financial conglomerates in a city, it is also a pillar of a moderately prosperous society. The family of 3 lives happily and happily. Returning to the room, he clicked and locked the door. The smile on the corner of Jing mouth suddenly faded, and she turned gloomy. She quickly ran to the bedside and sat down, took out a box of emergency contraceptives from her bag, and drank one in cold water. This was bought by her from the pharmacy on her way back from the hotel just now. After all, she is already 20 years old, and this common sense still exists. That demon duck didn't even wear a condom. If she were pregnant, it would really be ruined. When I walked out of the pharmacy, I heard the pharmacy owner behind me sighing, why don't you girls love yourself now? Jing almost didn't lower her head into her chest. Although she deviated from the track from a young age and did not grow into the obedient girl next door that her mother would love in the later stage, she always knew that girls should have self-esteem and self-love, and she would not step on anything out of place. However, she did not expect to do such a ridiculous thing. Surprisingly, I spent the night with the overnight shop bully. She is no longer the ideal daughter in the eyes of her parents. In the bathroom, Jing curled up and crouched in the corner of the wall, her hands covering her face, her wet long hair sticking to her shoulders, and she could clearly see the blue and purple bite marks on her snow-white body bones. She leaned against the wall tiles, which was icy cold, just like her current mood, extremely cold. In the misty heat, I vaguely saw the person in the corner trembling all over. It took Jing almost an hour to wash before coming out of the bathroom. Her eyes were red like rabbits, obviously crying all along just now, but after crying, she also felt much better. Jing went to bed and lay down, charging her phone. Within 2 minutes of turning it on, Xiao's first call came, and the girl's angry and resentful questioning voices came over. Miss Jing, you'd better explain to us where you went last night. We waited for you all night in the hotel room. We also specially customized your favorite Haagen-Dazs ice cream cake. Suddenly, Jing eyes widened and he was stunned, his spine trembling. What? The super surprise gift package prepared by her 2 best friends is a Haagen-Dazs cake. So, what happened to the monster duck in the room last night? End of this chapter. Chapter 3 is done. I went to the wrong room. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Chapter 3 is done. I went to the wrong room. So, what happened to the monster duck in the room last night? Deep down, in which room did you wait for me last night? She suddenly had a bad premonition. The luxury suite at the far right end of the corridor. On the far right. Jing was completely stunned and reacted for 10 seconds. She went to the room at the far left end of the corridor, unable to hear clearly on the phone. Jing panicked and said, deep down, I'm at home now. Let's wait until I've had enough sleep before we talk about anything. Pa, ignoring the shouting of the other girls, the phone hung up. On the bed, Jing Chinga stared straight at the ceiling, finally realizing a truth with immense clarity. It's done. She went to the wrong room. Jing Chinga almost didn't slap herself, saying that drinking was a mistake. This sentence is really right, she actually caused such a big mistake. So, the man from last night was not Nyo/Lang. Who is he then? In the chaotic mind, the man's demonic and luxurious cheeks automatically popped out, especially his narrow peach blossom eyes, as if looking at her and trying to snatch away her soul. Jing Chinga's heart suddenly skipped a beat. Last night, she was unconscious, but upon closer reflection, she felt as if she had seen that man somewhere before. The furrowed brow grew deeper and deeper, and with a sudden shake of his head, he thought no more. After thinking about it, he felt a headache. Regardless of who he was, in the end, he was full, but she suffered a big loss. Damn it. Jing Chinga flattened the corners of her mouth, muttered something in her mouth, and then closed her eyes and fell asleep, holding a big, fluffy bear in her arms. I slept soundly and didn't wake up until after 8 p.m., and I was still hungry. While she was sleeping, Xiao Chujian even sent a text message saying that we would go to the Blue Harbor bar together tonight because Qi Shinshin was working summer at that bar. Then the three girls went together to make up for her birthday. Jing Chinga didn't originally want to go, but after thinking about it, she decided to reply to the text message and agree, otherwise those two close friends would definitely not let her go. I went downstairs. Jing's father and mother have just had dinner, and Jing's father and mother are watching TV on the sofa in the living room. Chinga, I'll heat up the dishes for you again, said Jing's mother. No need, in the summer, the dishes are still hot. Jing Chinga took a big bite of white rice and chewed it, saying that her eating habits were immediately met with the disapproval of her own mother. After finishing her meal, Jing Chinga went upstairs to change into a new outfit and then prepared to go out. Dad, Mom, I'll go out for a while. I've made an appointment with Deeply meeting them for the first time, she said. Don't play too late, it's not safe for girls outside, Jing Dad explained. Jing Chinga nodded sweetly, while Jing Mom pointed to her hand and said, Chinga, isn't it hot to wear long-sleeved pants in the high temperature of over 30 degrees outside? Suddenly, Jing Chinga's mouth stiffened. She was wearing a chiffon shirt with a palace-style lace collar and long jeans underneath. If it weren't for those embarrassing bruises all over her body, she wouldn't have worn it like this. Oh, system, Jing Chinga tugged at her collar with some discomfort and said, it's not hot. The air conditioning was turned down while sleeping, and it seems to be freezing a bit. Speaking, he pretended to cough seriously twice, then ran out with his bag on his back and stopped a taxi on the roadside. When Jing Chinga arrived at the Blue Harbor bar, Xiao Chujian happened to arrive and called Qi Shinshin. Qi Shinshin came out and took them in together. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. The Prince of City A. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4 Prince of City A. When Jing Chinga arrived at the Blue Harbor bar, Xiao Chujian happened to arrive and called Qi Shinshin. Qi Shinshin came out and took them in together. Lan Gang is an asset under the G Group, the most luxurious and upscale bar in a city. All guests are registered under real name registration, which means that everyone who can enter and exit here is the most elite young master and socialite in a city. Every one of them has a fortune of over 100 million yuan, and a bottle of mineral water inside is more than tens of times more expensive than outside. Last night, they were able to come in and make purchases because they borrowed the membership card of Qi Shinshin's boyfriend, who is also a wealthy second-generation Shaokai. Originally, Jing Chinga wanted to borrow the membership card of her male god, but the male god is not in China now and has gone abroad to film. Moreover, there is no signal from the filming location, so they cannot be contacted. In the bar, The hot music can't help but shatter the eardrums, the lights are dazzling, swaying and flickering on the dance floor, reflecting people's carefree faces, all dyed with colors of indulgence. On the second floor of the bar, in a semi-open VIP private room. At first glance, a group of handsome men, the crown prince of several major financial conglomerates in a city, each born more noble and charming than the others, gathered together like this and definitely killed all idol groups in a flash. I Cheng, I heard that actress Shen Ninger went to climb the *** bed last night. A handsome man crossed his legs and smiled with a teasing expression. This was the young master of the Tang family. So you hit the iron plate again? The young master of the Li family answered with a question in an affirmative tone. The man next to him had a more sinister smile. Our family's elder brother is the rumored female lead of Flowing Water. She is an ironclad Xuanfei fairy, and she is truly in love. A collective and tacit glance, silently praising Ji Cheng and Xian Fei, these two cousins are reincarnated from a millennium-old vampire. A charming match. The man sitting in the middle curled his thin lips, gave a cold and seductive glare one by one, and then continued drinking. The men looked at each other. What happened to the demon today? Why didn't you even confront them? I feel absent-minded all night. In the swaying daze, the man's narrow eyes narrowed slightly, and a pure and lily-like appearance came to mind. On the first floor, next to the bar counter, Jing Qingge and Xiao Chujian drank orange juice in their arms and decided not to drink anymore. Qi Shen walked over, wearing a bar waiter's uniform and holding 2 bottles of vodka in his hand. Qi shouted deeply, the music was too loud, that group of prince gentlemen came again tonight. I just asked the manager for leave, and we can withdraw once we bring this wine up. Speaking, he reached out and pointed to a semi-open VIP room directly facing upstairs. What prince? Jing Qingge blinked curiously at the baby. I usually ask you to watch more entertainment gossip, but you don't watch it either. It's just the top few on the A-City Noble Bachelor ranking. Li Shize, Tang Haotian, Shangguan Domain, Xianxing North. Xiao Chujian counted on his fingers beside him. Jing Qingge raised her eyes and looked over her head towards the upstairs. Amidst the trembling lights and shadows, suddenly her small face was stunned and her eyes widened. Yes. That man. He sat there, wearing a casual Channel linen shirt, unbuttoned 3 buttons, revealing a collarbone that felt even more sexual than a woman. His powerful chest was faintly visible, and his short and fragmented ink hair was combed. His peach blossom eyes were half squinted, and his slender fingertips held the legs of a tall cup, sipping lightly between his teeth. The whole person exudes a demonic aura. End of this chapter. 5, Chapter 5 Coincidentally, we meet again 1. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 Coincidentally, we meet again 1. The whole person exudes a demonic aura. Without a doubt, God is always unfair, and this man is God's most beloved son. Well, the man sitting in the middle is the man in the hearts of all women in a city who wants to have sex with him the most, the ultimate seductive boss. Mr. Ji, the CEO of the Ji Group, Ji Cheng. Qi Shenshen spoke with spittle and stars flying all over the sky, then gave a contemptuous white glance and crossed his shoulders. When it comes to singing, it's fortunate that you're still studying jewelry design. Ji Shao is a male god myth in the jewelry industry. Jing Qingge could no longer hear anything, and with a loud bang, his head exploded with a buzzing sound. She finally remembered why she thought his face was familiar. I have seen his profile photo on the cover of the international jewelry magazine Fashion Gems before. He is Ji Cheng, Mr. President of Ji Group. The man who was rumored to have peach blossom eyes that were even more seductive than women, with a carefree and unrestrained demeanor, still had countless women who wanted to climb onto Ji Shao's bed one after another, even without asking for anything, just wanting to spend a night with him. Sure enough, women are also crazy. In the business world, he is even more cold-blooded and cruel, with a rebellious personality. No one dares to offend him because such a person is either dead or unborn. Some people say that he was clearly smiling, and his peach blossom eyes were even more dazzling and enchanting. However, just one glance gave you the illusion of being locked in the throat by demons, and all you saw was the color of death. Such a man, how terrifying. Too terrifying. In addition, 3 years ago, Queen Mary International Jewelry brand designed a jewelry necklace called Poison. Once exposed, it instantly caused a sensation in the jewelry industry. The Queen of England was even willing to spend £1 billion just to get it, but unfortunately returned. That's right, the designer of the Poison necklace is Ji Shao. The myth of the global jewelry industry. Jing is almost going crazy. How could it be? How could it be that man? She actually turned Ji Shao into a night shop bully and even posted a note on his second brother. Oh my God! What bad things did she do? When I think of the 2 sentences she left for him on the note, especially the 16-word motto, it was a huge negative review. Jing gritted her lips tightly, considering whether she should take a taxi and rush to the cross-sea bridge in a city now, because she really wants to die. Ziajizi, aren't you not a playboy? You've been staring blankly too. Xiao Chujian poked Jing's slightly stiff elbow as she looked at the private room on the 2nd floor with a dementia on her face. Ah! Jing was suddenly startled, as if her soul had suddenly returned to its original position, with cold sweat streaming down her forehead. She swallowed her saliva and was about to say they should leave quickly. Suddenly, her spine stiffened, and a cold and fierce gaze shot over, mercilessly cutting through all the fiery and ambiguous moments. In the air filled with the smell of alcohol chaos, I collided with her gaze straight away. Jing face turned pale, as if the little white rabbit had seen the big wild wolf and could clearly see the faint green light in his eyes. She almost instinctively got up and ran away. Qi Shinshin and Xiao Chujian had not yet reacted and shouted from behind, but were overwhelmed by the deafening music around them. Hey, Chinga, where are you going? Dear little rabbits, the new rabbit article, Lucky Pregnant Honey Pet. The Demon Boss Can't Afford It has officially opened today. Thank you, both new and old readers of Wooly, for your support and love for Big Rabbit. By the way, have you been pleasantly surprised? Take us Ji Shao back home. 11:11, on such a sweet and abusive day today, and for a long time to come, I hope to be with Xingyan Honey Pet to accompany you. Come on, poke your little finger and keep a new book for collection. Another important thing is that regarding the new book promotion, 222 has opened a top post in the comments section, which will provide detailed explanations. Book reviews will receive coin deductions, and there are also super lucky readers. 11:11, let's continue to love each other. End of this chapter. 6, Chapter 6. Coincidentally, we meet again too. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Coincidentally, we meet again too. Hey, Chinga, where are you going? Ji Chang was thinking about that damn stinky girl in his head, but he didn't expect to see her in the crowd downstairs. He even thought he had taken a fancy look. But with that pitiful expression of panic on her face, running faster than a rabbit, it's either she or someone. I didn't expect this girl to come knocking on her door before he could find her. A sinister smile swept over the corner of the man's demonic red lips. Tang, Ji Chang suddenly stood up from the sofa, his phantom flashed, and quickly rushed out of the private room. Hey, demon, you haven't finished drinking yet. Why are you going? Catch the thief. In the private room, a group of men rolled their big, round eyes together. Hey, Ji Shao, you must be funny. This is the Blue Harbor Bar, and those who can come in to consume are at least kicking millions in their pockets. How could there be a thief? What an international joke. Moreover, even if there is a thief, it's not up to you, the ultimate boss, to take action. The bodyguards in the bar were not invited as decorations. The men continued to drink. Jing Chinga has already rushed into the dance floor, her heart beating like thunder. It's done. He must have seen her, just as she was running away, she saw the cold light flashing through his eyes. It's almost too late for her. Jing Qingge panicked and relentlessly pushed away the hot body wriggling around her, causing a scream and jumping into the corridor next to the dance floor. It's the restroom. No matter what. Jing Qingge rushed in quickly, knowing that she could never be found by Ji Yicheng. Just as she was about to lock the door, she slammed into the air. A sturdy arm had already crossed in and was hit by the door panel, making a dull sound. Jing Qingge's face turned white. Looking at the man's long and slender hands that reached in, she felt like devil's claws, trembling all over. Subconsciously, she pressed harder, only to hear the man's soft growl of teeth coming from outside the crack in the door. Jing Qingge was once again surprised. Her reaction was faster than her brain, and by the time she regained consciousness, she had already relaxed her strength. Immediately after, with a loud bang, the man had already knocked into the door. Jing Qingge was hit and her footsteps stumbled, almost falling backwards. With a strange clang, he locked the door and there was no one else in the bathroom except him and her. It was great. As he watched the man approaching in front of him step by step, Jing Qingge felt an unprecedented panic and gradually retreated with his footsteps. Finally, he forced her into the corner of the wall, and she felt the cold air rolling in from all directions, imprisoning her alone. Since there is no other way out, we can only face it head-on. Jing Qingge lifted her chin, squeezed out a smile that wasn't particularly attractive, and raised her small hand. Ha, what a coincidence. You came to the restroom too, but the men's restroom is across from you. You took the wrong way. Ji Yicheng snorted coldly in his heart. This stinky girl is really not afraid of death. Surprisingly, they could still greet him so casually. Yeah, in less than 24 hours, we met again. It's really a coincidence, it's a coincidence. Ji Yicheng repeated twice, and the demon's red lips curled up little by little. In the backlight of the lamp, the eyes were dim, even feeling ambiguous. It has to be said that this man really has the ability to seduce people. Jing Qingge, however, was so startled that she finally understood why people said that, right now. The more demonic his smile becomes, the more terrifying it becomes. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. You are abnormal. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. You're abnormal. The more demonic his smile becomes, the more terrifying it becomes. She could feel that he was angry. Very strong anger. However, Ji Yicheng paused slightly, lengthened his voice, and placed one hand on her delicate waist, tightening it with force. I'm not like you, I went to the wrong place. Jing Qingge's heart froze with a thud. It's over, he knew she had walked into the wrong room last night. The woman decided to continue pretending to be crazy and foolish, took a deep breath, suppressed the pain from her waist, and pressed her tightly clenched fist against his approaching chest. She pretended to be relaxed and pushed, with a pure smile on her face. What's that? Please make way, I need to use the restroom. A certain man, however, had an expression of, I heard you fart, on his face, clung like a wire pole without moving, and his palm tightened even tighter. Hurry up and let go, my bladder is about to explode. She wanted to quickly find a way to escape, as the demon's aura in front of her was too strong. Ji Yicheng suddenly lowered his head, his cheeks close, and their noses were about to touch each other, laughing incredibly seductively. That's right here. Jing Qingge almost spewed out a mouthful of old blood. What is this guy saying, right here? There was a strange sensation in her lower abdomen, and Ji Yicheng had already unbuttoned her jeans with the other hand. Jing Qingge suddenly blushed and slapped the back of his hand, while the other hand covered the waist of his pants and roared at the top of his throat, You're changing your asterisk state. Aren't you in a hurry? Isn't your bladder about to explode? He wanted to see when this stinky girl was going to fit him. If he wants to play, he has more ways, which is the consequence of offending demons. He had never been teased like this before, and the thought of being treated like a duck by a seemingly underage girl and leaving him such a sticky note twisted the man's incredibly seductive face. Jing Qing's eyelids twitched fiercely and she changed her tone with a strong backbone. I suddenly don't want to go on, can't I? Okay, very good. So you can take your hand away. Jing Qing blushed and wished she could bleed. She was both shy and angry, even though she was tightly lifting her pants waist. How could her hand strength match him? The zipper of her jeans was torn open. Damn it. Demon. This is the first impression that Jing Qing had when she saw Ji Shao last night. Birds and beasts. This is Jing Qing's second cognition after being tormented by him all night. Change *** state. This is Jing Qing's inner thoughts at this moment. Obviously, Jing Qing is right. Being abnormal means being abnormal and not understanding human language. He even deliberately rubbed her lower abdomen a few times, and she really wanted to chop his hand off like a pig's hoof. Ji Shao looked at her angry little face, her beautiful almond eyes wide and round, which made his heart itch and he became even more interested. Thief, do you know who I am? He said softly. Jing Qing's eyes widened and he didn't answer. Instead, he roared, who are you talking about as a thief? You. When will I steal? My clothes, Ji Shao said with great enthusiasm. Jing Qing's throat got stuck, and the corners of her eyes twitched fiercely. She swallowed her unfinished words with great frustration. Damn it. This man is too stingy. That's also because you tore up my skirt. Jing Qing felt like her head was definitely twitching before saying such a sentence again. She shed tears. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Miss Jing wants to start with chaos and end with abandonment. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. Miss Jing wants to start with chaos and end with abandonment. She shed tears. Watching the man's expression turn even more evil in an instant, he stared straight at her. His gaze was too revealing, giving her the illusion that she was not wearing clothes. Jing Qing decisively sounded the alarm all over her body, preparing to fight to the death. However, Ji Shao coldly asked her, why, stop pretending to be silly. Jing Qing, cough. I coughed twice, clenched my fist, clenched it, let go, and clenched it again. Then I suddenly looked up, unable to contain the anger in my stomach and roared loudly, last night, I walked into the wrong room and treated you like that. But in the end, you were happy on your own. I am the one who really suffered. Although she now knows who this man is and has absolutely no intention of causing trouble for herself, she also wants to remain calm. However, the expression on this man's face is really despicable. Look at those peach blossom eyes, laughing wildly, afraid that others won't know your innate hook/person ability. Damn it. So Mr. G, we're clear now. Jing Qing shouted at him again. Ji Shao nodded, as if agreeing with what she said. Name. Jing Qing glanced at him and said, it's all clear now, and there's no need to know the name. Anyway, there won't be any further relationship in the future. She definitely doesn't want to have any relationship with him, not even a penny. Ji Shao rolled his eyes with even more disdain and sneered coldly, I can still find the name without you saying it now. A certain woman choked, took a deep breath, self-proclaimed her name, Jing Qing. Ji Shao raised his eyebrows and sang with a beautiful name. Jing Qing shook her hand and said, Mr. G, from now on, let's walk the road facing the sky on each side. Goodbye. I'll never see you again. Jing Qing was about to leave, but suddenly his body tightened. He grabbed her body tightly clasping it in his arms like pinching a chick. All of a sudden, the smell of Armani perfume on his body was more intense, and he felt sexual and lazy, almost suffocated. His tightly clasped palm pinched her sensitive waist, causing Jing Qing to shiver and her legs to soften. She looked at the man in front of her incredulously. Mr. G, please take care of yourself. He must be sick. I've already made it clear, why are you still clinging to her? Miss Jing, when I sleep, I'll run away. Do you want to start with chaos and give up? Ji Chang smiled with a seductive smile, her eyes flowing with infinite charm. But Jing Chinga could hear the meaning behind his words. It turned out that he had never intended to let her go from the beginning. You. Jing Chinga's shoulders trembled as his slender fingertips hooked her collar, and the two pearl buttons untied. In the shallow light, her slender neck, like a swan, was exposed, her charming collarbone, and a soft snow-white half hidden and half hidden downwards, as if she was about to jump out like a little rabbit. Jing Chinga felt a strong sense of shame in her heart, gritting her teeth, smiling, and cursing word by word, "Damn you, you're really asterisk. Thank you for your praise." Ji Chang answered with ease. Jing Chinga was angry and said, "What exactly do you want to do?" "I think." The man narrowed his eyes slightly. "This way." As he lowered his head, he bit fiercely on her rosy lips, like a vampire, sucking hard. Suddenly, the bloody smell spread and spread between the tightly pressed four petals, stimulating all the taste buds. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. I have no interest in breeding/horses at all. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. I have no interest in stallions at all. He never says what he said twice, this is already the third time. Jing Chinga's face turned pale. She saw a light in his eyes that was even more dazzling than obsidian, but she knew it was definitely not the halo of the Virgin Mary, but a poisonous cold light shot out from the darkness that could devour the soul. He wants to torture her. Damn it. This damn pervert. Sorry, I'm not interested in stallions at all. Jing Chinga gritted her teeth, her voice almost shattering. Oh, is that right? Ji Chang didn't get angry and nodded meaningfully. But how do I remember someone holding me tightly in bed last night, shouting, "Want to?" Bang! Jing Chinga's face suddenly turned red, and the chaotic scene of last night was replayed in his mind. He knew she had been drugged, but he deliberately tormented her again and again last night. Jing Chinga's small mouth flattened, and a hint of grievance and anger could be heard in her roaring voice, "Who knows who that person is?" Ji Chang was taken aback and immediately laughed. It turned out that this bad girl was cursing him as a ghost, but she was right. He was indeed a ghost, a very demonic vampire. However, anyone who is targeted by a vampire will have their soul sucked away. Jing Chinga instinctively avoided his gaze, clenched her fists, and tried to maintain her composure. "Mr. Ji, I don't think we have much to say anymore. My friend is still waiting for me outside. Is it really not worth considering anymore? Don't worry. She definitely has no tendency towards self-abuse. Okay then." Ji Chang stepped back and released the tightly clasped palm around her waist, pretending to sigh, "What a pity." Jing Chinga was momentarily stunned. She didn't expect him to agree to let her go so quickly. She thought she would have to spend a while and a half with him. Sure enough, her doubts had not yet been answered when the man suddenly lowered his head and kissed her seductive little mouth, touching the hint of crimson emanating from the corner of her mouth. The gorgeous bass oozed out, sounding extremely gentle, as if she was really his favorite. She heard him say, "I will wait for you to change your mind here, but by then, Miss Jing, you will have no choice." Suddenly, Jing Chinga's eyebrows twitched. He had already left her lips, his narrow and long eyes slanting at her, holding a hint of a smile that seemed rather than a smile, eerie and enchanting. Jing Chinga felt even more inexplicably flustered. Change your mind? How could it be? Even if there were 8 big horses pulling her, she wouldn't turn back even if she died. There is still no choice. This man is talking nonsense, and indeed he is talking nonsense. Goodbye. Jing Chinga coughed, pretended to be calm, pushed away Ji Chang's shoulder, and quickly ran out of the bathroom, faster than a rabbit. In the backlit shadow, the man leaned sideways against the wall, lazily looking at the clattering door panel, his lips curved even deeper. In fairy tales, the big bad wolf caught Little Red Riding Hood and wanted to eat her. However, the big bad wolf suddenly changed his mind and planned to keep Little Red Riding Hood by his side. Slowly torturing and abusing her offending demons comes at a cost. If Jing Qinga had known Ji Yicheng's level of abnormality, she would not have provoked him. However, it was already too late. End of this chapter. 10. Chapter 10. Ji Shao's Height, Weight, and 3 Circumferences. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Ji Shao's Height, Weight, and 3 Circumferences. If Jing Qinga had known Ji Yicheng's level of abnormality, she would not have provoked him. However, it was already too late. Jing Qinga came out of the bathroom, ran around the corner of the hallway, leaned against the wall to catch her breath, and Qi Shenshen and Xiao Chujian happened to come over from the bar. Gezi, you. The two girls walked over together, and before Qi Shenshen could finish speaking, Jing Qinga went up and reached out his paw to stop her mouth, then pulled them and ran towards the entrance of the bar. In the taxi, 3 girls sat side by side at the back, still panting. Gezi, what have you been running for? Did anyone chase you at the bar just now? Xiao Chujian turned his head in confusion. Jing Qinga sat in the middle, his face visibly white. Qi frowned deeply, rolled his eyes, and added a knife. Is it difficult to see the ghost? Jing Qinga's eyelids twitched, and she instinctively swallowed her saliva. Yes, she's really a ghost. Qi Shenshen and Xiao Chujian exchanged a glance of confusion, and Qi Shenshen slapped him, raising his decibel. Hey, Song Zi, what's wrong with you? Jing Qinga was suddenly startled, as if her soul had suddenly returned to its original position. Her lips were flattened and she murmured, I seem to have caused trouble. What kind of trouble did you cause? I accidentally played with a demon man. Jing Qinga summarized the oolong incident between her and Ji Yicheng in one sentence. At first sight, Qi Shen and Xiao Chu thought it was something that had just happened in Blue Harbor. After all, those who went to the bar were young masters who were drunk and seeking pleasure. Xiao Chu saw them nervously and asked, Are you not at a loss? Jing Qinga's teeth were biting loudly. Can we not suffer losses? She has been eaten dry and wiped clean. Just now, I was bitten twice by that man in the restroom. In the end, Jing Qinga shook her head. She had not recovered yet, so as not to worry about 2 more people. Perhaps the situation was not as bad as she thought. Jing Qinga comforted herself optimistically. That's okay. Qi let out a deep sigh of relief and raised his eyebrows. Anyway, those wealthy and young people are all going to play. It's definitely his pleasure to be flirted with by such a beautiful fairy like you. As long as you don't bump into the prince of the Ji family, it's definitely his pleasure. Jing Qinga originally thought that what Qi Shenshen said was reasonable. He was about to relax, but when he heard the last sentence, he almost couldn't breathe and choked to death. His mouth opened for a long time. What if it happens? Then it should be Amitabha Buddha. Jesus has blessed me, Xiao Chujian said and drew a cross on his chest with Qi Shen. Jing Qinga. Qi Shen and Xiao Chu were both surprised when they met. Gezi, you don't know? No. Jing Qinga shook her head stubbornly and quickly changed the topic. But how do you feel that you two know that demon young master so well? Is it really as scary as you said? The 2 young girls once again cast a rather disdainful white eye, not paying attention to Jing Qinga's call to Ji Yicheng, because everyone called Ji Shao a demon young master. Xiao Chujian shook his head. Gezi, it's not that we know Ji Shao so well, but that everyone except you knows him very well. Qi deeply connected. You can easily bring a little girl over on the street, not to mention 100%, 99%, to report Ji Shao's height, weight, and full circumference to you. The 2 girls exchanged a glance. It's because you never watch entertainment gossip. End of this chapter.